My girlfriend's parents said we always pictured my daughter ending up with someone more ambitious. While calling me a steady guy, I felt something cold settle in my stomach, but I have to keep smiling. By the time I walked out that door, I knew I had just seen a preview of our future. I just left my girlfriend's family dinner, and I think I just realized something terrible. I am Ethan, 25. Work as an IT technician. My girlfriend Claire, 23, works as a marketing assistant. We have been together for over a year now. And honestly, things moved pretty fast between us. A few weeks ago, we found out she is pregnant, 8 weeks along. We talked about it for days, went through all the options, and decided we want to keep the baby. I mean, we love each other. We are both adults with jobs. Why not, right? Here is the thing, though. I have met her parents, Linda and Richard Thompson, several times over the past few months. They live in this nice house in Cherry Hills. You know the type. Richard's some kind of financial advisor. Linda doesn't work but volunteers at their country club. They are, how do I put this? Polite. But it is that specific kind of polite where you can feel them measuring you with their eyes and finding you lacking. Every time I go over there, I bring a nice bottle of wine. Not cheap stuff, like $40 -50 bottles, because I looked up what you were supposed to bring to these things. I help Linda set the table. I ask Richard about his golf game. I compliment their house, their food, everything. I am trying so hard to fit in, but there is this underlying tension that I cannot shake. Like, Linda will smile and say, "Oh, Ethan, how thoughtful when I bring wine." But her eyes don't smile. You know what I mean? Richard will talk to me about work, but he has this way of asking questions that makes my job sound small. "Oh, you fix computers. That must be steady work." The pause before steady always gets me. Tonight was supposed to be different, Claire said. Her parents wanted to have us over to celebrate the pregnancy news since we would officially told them last week. I thought maybe this was them warming up to me, accepting me into the family properly. Dinner started great. Richard talked about his work. I asked follow-up questions. Linda shared this story about Claire's childhood dance recital that was actually pretty funny. Claire was laughing, holding my hand under the table. I started to relax, thinking maybe tonight would be the night they finally saw me as family material. Then Linda started getting nostalgic. "Oh, I remember when Claire was little. She used to say she was going to marry a prince." She laughed. She had such big dreams, always talking about traveling the world, living in Paris, having these grand adventures. I smiled and nodded. She still has big dreams. That is one of the things I love about her. "Oh yes," Linda said, glancing at Claire with this knowing look. "Though sometimes dreams have to adjust to reality, don't they?" I felt something cold settle in my stomach, but I kept smiling. Then Linda looked directly at me, with this perfect smile that didn't reach her eyes, and said, "We always pictured Claire ending up with someone more ambitious." The room went quiet for like half a second. Then Richard chuckled. Claire giggled nervously, and Linda just kept smiling at me like she hadn't just gutted me at their dinner table. More ambitious. Those words are still ringing in my ears. I work 50+ hours a week. I am good at my job. I make decent money. I have goals, plans for the future. But apparently, that is not ambitious enough for their daughter. I managed to laugh it off somehow. "Well, I prefer steady growth over risky ventures," I said, trying to sound confident. That is when Linda delivered the killing blow. The conversation had moved on to careers and future plans, and she looked at me with this almost pitying expression and said, "Well, at least Ethan will keep her grounded. At least, like I was the consolation prize. Like I was the safe, boring choice they would have to settle for." The way she emphasized grounded, like it was code for mediocre or limited. I felt my face burn. My appetite completely disappeared. I looked at Claire, hoping she would say something. Anything to defend me, or at least look uncomfortable with her mother's comments. But she was just sitting there, nodding along. Like this was normal family conversation. The rest of dinner was torture. I answered questions when asked, but I could barely focus. Every laugh felt like it was at my expense. Every glance between Linda and Richard felt like silent communication about how disappointed they were in Claire's choice. Around 8:30, I couldn't take it anymore. I put my hand to my forehead and said, "I am really sorry, but I am not feeling great. I think I need to head home." Linda made sympathetic noises. "Oh no, I hope you are not coming down with something. You don't want to get Claire sick, especially now." Claire looked concerned. "Are you okay? Do you want me to come with you?" "No. Stay with your family," I said. "I will call you later." I kissed her goodbye, thanked Linda and Richard for dinner, and got the hell out of there. Now I am sitting in this gas station parking lot, and that text from Claire just came through. "Ethan, you embarrassed me tonight. Mom was just joking around. You totally overreacted and left early for no reason. I am staying here tonight. We need to talk tomorrow about you being so sensitive, especially now that we are having a baby." Reddit. I am sitting here staring at this text, and I am realizing something that terrifies me. If Claire will not defend me now, if she sees her mother's cutting remarks as just joking, what happens when we have this baby? What happens when Linda decides I am not doing fatherhood right, when she undermines my parenting in front of my own child? I keep thinking about holidays, birthdays, school events, all with Linda making little comments about how I am not quite good enough for her daughter and grandchild. And Claire just letting it happen. Am I crazy? Am I being too sensitive? Or did I just get a preview of the next 18+ years of my life? I love Claire. I want this baby. But sitting here right now, I feel so small and worthless that I can barely breathe. What would you do? Update 1. I know, I said I would update sooner, but honestly, I needed time to process what happened. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. They really helped me see I wasn't going crazy. So Tuesday night, I went over to Claire's apartment. I had spent 3 days reading every comment, thinking about what I wanted to say, how I wanted to approach this. I didn't want to come across as attacking her family, but I needed her to understand how serious this was. She was making dinner when I got there. Pasta with that sauce she makes from scratch. For a second, everything felt normal. She kissed me hello, asked about my day, told me about some drama at her work. It was so domestic. I kept thinking about how this was supposed to be our life, cooking together, talking about our days, building something together. After we ate, I took her hands across the table. "Claire, we need to talk about what happened Sunday night." She immediately got this defensive look. "Ethan, I already told you, please. Just let me explain how I felt." I tried to keep my voice calm. "When your mom said I wasn't ambitious enough, and that I would at least keep you grounded. It felt like she was telling me I am not good enough for you. And when you didn't say anything," Claire pulled her hands away. "She wasn't saying you are not good enough. She has a way of talking. You are being way too sensitive about this." Sensitive? I could feel my voice rising. "Claire." She basically called me a consolation prize at their dinner table. She did not. God, Ethan. You are twisting everything she said. She likes you. She is just protective of me. That is when I realized I needed to be more direct. "Claire, I don't need your parents to love me. I get that they want the best for you. But I need you to stand with me. When someone, anyone, including your mother, disrespects me, I need to know you have my back. If you cannot do that, I don't know how we can build a life together." She stared at me for a long moment, and I saw something flicker across her face. Then she sighed, and her shoulders dropped. "Ethan, you have to understand. My mom just wants the best for me. She has always been protective." "When I was dating Mark in college," Mark, I interrupted. "My ex. He just finished medical school and started his residency this summer. Mom always liked him because he was pre-med. You know, very driven. Had this whole plan for his life. When we broke up, she was devastated. My stomach dropped. So when she talks about me not being ambitious enough, she is not comparing you to Mark," Claire said quickly. "Well, not exactly. It is just, she had certain expectations about who I would end up with, and I don't meet those expectations." Claire was quiet for a moment. Then, it is not about meeting expectations, Ethan. It is about, look, you are a good guy. You are stable, reliable, kind. You will be a great father, but you have to admit, you are not exactly, you don't have big career goals or anything. Hearing this from Claire, not her mother, but from Claire herself, was like a punch to the gut. What do you mean? I don't have big career goals. You have been at the same company for 3 years. You never talk about wanting a promotion or starting your own business or anything. You seem happy just staying where you are. I like my job. I am good at it. I make decent money. I thought those were good things. They are, she said. They are just safe things. There it was, the word that explained everything. Safe. There is nothing wrong with safe, Claire continued, especially now, with the baby coming. Safe is good. Safe is what we need. I sat there staring at her, realizing that she saw me exactly the same way her mother did. I wasn't the love of her life. I was the responsible choice. The guy who would stick around, pay the bills, and not cause drama. So you agree with your mother, I said quietly. I didn't say that, Claire. You just spent 10 minutes explaining why I am not ambitious enough, why your mom preferred your ex-boyfriend, the future doctor, and why I am the safe choice. How is that different from what she said? Claire got flustered, because I am not saying it to hurt you. I am trying to help you understand why mom acts the way she does. She is not trying to be mean. She just wants to make sure I am taken care of. And she doesn't think I can take care of you. She thinks you are limited. The word hung in the air between us. And what do you think? I asked. Claire was quiet for a long time. Too long. I think you are wonderful, she finally said. I think you will be a great dad. I think we can have a really good life together, but I sometimes wonder if you are happy just coasting. Like, don't you want more? Don't you want to challenge yourself? That is when it hit me. Claire didn't just tolerate her mother's comments. She agreed with them. She had been thinking these things about me all along, and her mother just gave her permission to voice them. I need to ask you something, I said. When you found out you were pregnant, were you excited because you love me and want to build a life with me? Or were you relieved because now you have a reason to settle down with the safe guy? The look on her face told me everything I needed to know. She started crying. That is not fair. I do love you, but you don't respect me. I do respect you. No, Claire, you don't. If you respected me, you would have shut down your mother's comments. If you respected me, you wouldn't see me as limited, or safe, or whatever other words you want to use to say I am not enough. She was really crying now. Ethan, please. I don't want to fight about this. We are having a baby. We need to focus on that. We are focusing on that. I am trying to figure out what kind of family we are going to be. Are we going to be the kind where both parents support each other? Or are we going to be the kind where one parent gets slowly undermined and diminished until they don't recognize themselves anymore? Claire wiped her eyes. You are being dramatic. Am I? Because right now, I am sitting here realizing that the woman I love thinks I am not good enough for her, just like her mother does. And you want me to just what? Pretend that is okay. We sat in silence for a while. Finally, Claire said, what do you want me to do? Cut off my family. I want you to set boundaries. I want you to tell your mother that comments about my ambition or career are off limits. I want you to have my back when anyone disrespects me. She wasn't disrespecting you, Claire. I stood up. If you cannot even admit that what your mother said was disrespectful, then we don't have anything else to talk about. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Where are you going? She called after me. Home. To think about whether I want to raise a child in a family where they will watch their father get disrespected on a regular basis. That was 3 days ago. She has texted me a few times, but they have all been variations of you are overreacting and we need to talk about your attitude. Reddit. I think I am seeing the real situation now. This isn't about her family not liking me. This is about Claire not seeing me as an equal partner, and I don't know if that is something that can be fixed. Still processing all this. Will update again soon. Update to Reddit. I was going to wait longer before updating, but something happened yesterday that I need to share. This completely changed how I see the whole situation. First, thank you for all the support on my last update. Reading your comments helped me realize I wasn't going crazy or being too sensitive. Some of your stories about dealing with in-laws hit really close to home. So yesterday, Wednesday, I was grabbing lunch at this place near my work when someone called my name. I turned around. And it was Jake, Claire's older brother. I have met him maybe 4 or 5 times. He is 28, married to this woman Sarah, and they have a 2-year-old daughter. Jake and I were never close, but he was always friendly enough. He asked if he could sit with me, said he wanted to talk about something. Look, man, he said right off the bat. I heard about what happened at Mom and Dad's house Sunday night. My stomach dropped. What did you hear? Claire called Sarah, pretty upset about how you embarrassed her by leaving early. But the thing is, Sarah and I know exactly what happened. I raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Jake leaned forward. Dude, my mom has been pulling this shit for years. And Claire, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Claire has never learned to stand up to her. I am not following. Okay, let me tell you about my wedding day. Sarah and I got married 3 years ago. Small ceremony. Nothing fancy. During the reception, Sarah was talking to my mom about her job. She is a pediatric nurse at Children's Hospital. Loves what she does, is amazing at it. Jake took a sip of his coffee. My mom, in front of about 15 people, including Sarah's parents, says, well, nursing is very practical. I always imagined my daughter, in-law, would be more academically inclined, you know, a doctor or maybe a lawyer. Jesus, I muttered. Gets worse. Sarah just stood there completely humiliated. And you know what Claire did? She laughed. Actually laughed and said, Mom, you are so funny. My blood went cold. She didn't defend Sarah. Not only did she not defend her, she actively participated. Later that night, Sarah was crying in our hotel room, asking if I was embarrassed by her job. I had to reassure my wife on my wedding night that I didn't think she was beneath our family. Jake's jaw was tight now. But here is the kicker. Sarah had been trying to get pregnant for months before the wedding. All that stress, all that humiliation. She didn't get her period for 3 months after. Doctor said stress can absolutely affect fertility. That is horrible. It gets worse, man. When Sarah finally did get pregnant, she was already anxious about dealing with my mom during the pregnancy. My mom started making suggestions about everything. What Sarah should eat, what kind of birth plan she should have, even what we should name the baby. I was starting to see a pattern, and Claire thought Mom was just being helpful. She kept telling Sarah to listen to Mom's advice because she has been through this before. Jake ran his hands through his hair. One day, my mom tells Sarah that she is gaining too much weight, that she needs to be more careful about the baby's health. Sarah came home sobbing. She was already dealing with all the normal pregnancy anxieties, and now she had my mom making her feel like she was failing as a mother before the kid was even born. What did you do? I finally had enough. I called my mom and told her that if she made one more comment about Sarah's pregnancy, her weight, her job, or anything else, she wouldn't be allowed to see the baby after it was born. How would that go over? Jake laughed bitterly. About as well as you would expect, she cried, said I was being cruel, that she was just trying to help. But you know what? She backed off, and Sarah had a healthy, peaceful rest of her pregnancy. And Claire's reaction to all this? She told me I was being too harsh, said I was overreacting, and that Mom meant well. Even after seeing what the stress did to Sarah, Claire still took Mom's side. I sat back in my chair, processing this. So this isn't new behavior, Ethan. My mom has been like this my entire life. She has very specific ideas about what our family should look like. And anyone who doesn't fit that image gets managed, slowly worn down until they either conform or leave. And Claire just goes along with it. Claire idolizes our mother, always has. Mom can do no wrong in Claire's eyes. And the thing is, Mom is different with Claire. Claire fits her vision. Pretty, well, dressed, works in marketing, dates professional guys. Mom's never had to manage Claire because Claire already meets all her expectations. Jake looked at me seriously. Well, until now. What do you mean, Ethan? You are the first guy Claire's brought home, who isn't what Mom considers appropriate. Mark, her last boyfriend, was pre-med. Before him was this guy Kevin, who worked in finance. All very Mom-approved careers. So I am the test case, exactly. And based on what happened Sunday night, you are failing Mom's test. But here is the thing. It is not actually Mom's test that matters. It is whether Claire will choose you or choose keeping Mom happy. I stared at my sandwich, appetite completely gone. And based on the pattern you are describing, Claire has never chosen anyone over Mom. Ever. When we were kids and Dad would try to set boundaries with Mom, Claire would side with Mom. When I tried to protect Sarah, Claire sided with Mom. It is who she is. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Jake said something that really got to me. The worst part is, Sarah tried so hard to win Mom over. She brought gifts, complimented everything, asked for advice, really tried to build a relationship, but it never mattered because she wasn't a doctor. And now, honestly, Sarah doesn't even want to go to family events anymore. She goes because I ask her to, but she is never comfortable. How is their relationship now? Better. Because I enforced boundaries, but Sarah still gets anxious before family gatherings. She still second-guesses herself. 3 years later, and she is still recovering from the damage Mom did during those first few months. Jake looked at me directly. Ethan, I like you. You seem like a good guy, but I am going to give you the same advice I wish someone had given Sarah. Set your boundaries now, before the baby comes, because once that kid is here, Mom is going to have opinions about everything. How you parent, what you teach them, what activities they should do, and if Claire will not back you up now, she sure as hell will not back you up when Mom is just trying to help with the grandchild. What if she chooses her mom? Then you will know where you stand, and you can make decisions based on that reality instead of hoping things will change. After Jake left, I sat in that restaurant for another hour, just thinking. Everything he described, the pattern of behavior, Claire's inability to stand up to their mother, the way Linda manages people who don't fit her vision, it all made sense. But the part that really got to me was thinking about Sarah. This smart, accomplished woman who saves children's lives for a living, reduced to tears because her mother-in-law didn't think she was good enough. And now, 3 years later, she still carries that damage. Is that what I want for myself? To spend years being slowly worn down, always feeling like I have to prove my worth, never being quite good enough. And what about our kid? What happens when they are old enough to understand that grandma doesn't respect daddy? What kind of example does that set? I think I know what I need to do. But first, I need to try one more conversation with Claire. We'll update after that happens. Final update Reddit. This is going to be my last update on this situation. After talking to Jake, I knew I had to give Claire one more chance. This is about more than just our relationship now. There is a baby involved, and I needed to know I had tried everything. I called Claire Thursday night and asked if she wanted to come over Friday evening to talk. She seemed relieved that I was reaching out, said she had been hoping we could work things out. She got to my apartment around 7 p.m. I had spent the whole day thinking about what I wanted to say, how to make this as clear as possible. No accusations, no attacks on her family, just honest conversation about what I needed. We sat on my couch, and I started with this. Claire, I love you. I love the baby we are going to have. I want us to work, but I need to know that we are partners. Real partners. She nodded eagerly. Of course we are partners, Ethan. That is what I want too. Okay, then I need you to understand that what happened at your parents' house cannot happen again. When your mom made those comments about my ambition and keeping you grounded, it felt like she was saying I am not good enough for you. And when you didn't say anything, Claire interrupted. Ethan, We have been over this. Mom wasn't trying to hurt you. I am not asking you to think she was trying to hurt me. I am asking you to recognize that she did hurt me, regardless of her intentions. And I need to know that if something like that happens again, you will speak up." Claire was quiet for a moment. "What exactly do you want me to say to her?" Something like, "Mom, Ethan is my partner, and I will not tolerate disrespectful comments about him, or that is not appropriate." Or even just, "Let's change the subject." Anything that shows you are not okay with it. But what if she gets upset? And there it was. The core of the problem. "What if I get upset?" I asked. Claire looked confused. "What do you mean?" "You are worried about your mom getting upset if you defend me, but you are not worried about me being upset when she attacks me. Why is her comfort more important than mine?" "It is not more important, Claire. You have seen how hurt I am by this. You know, I am seriously considering ending our relationship over it, but you are still more concerned about avoiding conflict with your mother than protecting me from her comments." Claire started getting defensive. "She is my mother, Ethan. I cannot just attack her." "I am not asking you to attack her. I am asking you to set a boundary. Jake did it with Sarah. Jake was too harsh. Jake protected his wife, and it worked. Sarah isn't anxious around your family anymore because she knows Jake has her back." Claire shook her head. "That is different. Sarah and Jake are married, and what are we? What are we going to be when this baby is born? We are together. We are a family, but not family enough for you to defend me to your mother." The conversation went in circles for another hour. Every time I tried to explain why I needed her support, she would deflect or minimize or explain why it was complicated. Finally, I decided to be completely direct. "Claire, I need you to make a choice. I need you to decide if you are going to be my partner or your mother's daughter. Because right now, it feels like you cannot be both." That is when she said something that told me everything I needed to know. Why do I have to choose? Why cannot you just accept that my family is important to me and learn to deal with my mom's personality? Because your mom's personality involves belittling me, and your response is to tell me to deal with it. That is not a partnership, Claire. "You are being dramatic," she said, and I could hear her mother's voice in those words. "Am I? Let me ask you something. Do you think your mother respects me?" Claire hesitated. She is getting to know you." "That is not what I asked. Do you think she respects me?" "I think she is protective of me." "Do you respect me?" Another hesitation. "Of course I do." "Then why will not you protect me the way Jake protects Sarah?" "Because it is not the same situation." "You are right," I said, standing up. "It is not the same. Jake loves Sarah enough to set boundaries with his family. You love your family more than you love me." Claire started crying. "That is not true. I do love you. I believe that you do, but not enough." I walked to my bedroom and came back with a small box. Inside was the engagement ring I had been saving up for. I had planned to propose after the baby was born, when things settled down. "I bought this 2 months ago," I told her. "I was going to wait until after the baby to propose, but I wanted you to know that I was serious about us, about building a life together." Claire stared at the ring, tears streaming down her face. "But I cannot marry someone who will not stand with me. I cannot raise a child in a family where I am constantly diminished and told to just accept it." "Ethan, please, what is going to happen when your mom has opinions about how we raise our child? What happens when she thinks I am too lenient or too strict or not providing enough for the family? Are you going to tell me to deal with her personality then too?" Claire was sobbing now, but she didn't answer. "I need you to leave," I said quietly. "I need time to think about what comes next." "What does that mean?" "It means I love our baby already, and I will be the best father I can be. But I cannot be in a relationship where I am slowly erased." Claire left around 10 p.m. She kept saying she loved me, kept asking me not to give up on us. But she never once said she had set boundaries with her mother. I have been thinking about what Jake said. That patterns don't change. Only boundaries do. Claire's pattern is to prioritize her mother's comfort over her partner's dignity. My boundary is that I will not accept being disrespected in my own family. I know this isn't the update some of you were hoping for. I know some of you wanted me to fight harder or give her more chances, but I have spent enough time in relationships where I had to beg for basic respect. I will not do it again, especially not when there is a child involved who will be watching and learning from our dynamic. The baby is due in early spring. I will be there for every appointment Claire will let me attend. For the birth, for every moment I am allowed to be part of. I will pay child support. I will take every custody arrangement the courts will give me, and I will love that child with everything I have. But I will not stay in a relationship where I am treated as less than equal. I will not model that for my child. I am heartbroken. I am scared about being a single father. I am angry that it has to be this way, but I am also relieved. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe.